Alibaba, Claude, Shopify, Stripe, Meta, Upwork, Canva. These companies have armed the masses. Now everyone has akimbo machine guns when trying to make money. This video is about the permissionless economy, what it is, why it's important to New Zealanders specifically, and how you can use it. So let's go back 20 years. If you wanted to start a business in New Zealand, difficult. You wanted to sell a product. You would need a manufacturer, a freight forwarder, a warehouse lease, a retail space lease, a website to be built by some agency, and the minimum order quantities were so much higher back then too from suppliers. So you would have had to invest all this capital just to get your first customer. It would have cost thousands just to get one customer. If you wanted to start a service business, you would need an office space, you'd need a receptionist, you'd need a phone system, you'd need a section in the yellow pages so people can contact you, and you need years of word of mouth to get traffic towards your business. If you wanted to create an audience, you would need a media deal. You would need a TV spot. You would need a radio spot. You'd need a spot in the newspaper. Access to this distribution channel to then gain a following was gatekept by a small number of companies. So it became very hard. It was very centralized in terms of who decided who got what sort of attention. Every path, it seemed, back then had a gatekeeper from keeping people from trying to get into the business space. And if just one of those people who was gatekeeping said no, everything would fall apart, or it would take so much longer to build the business. But the good news is this was the old business world. Here's what changed. The internet didn't just create new businesses. It systematically destroyed, it gunned down every single gatekeeper who was holding people back from getting into a specific industry. So let's go through a few examples. Sourcing a product. Alibaba has opened up direct access to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of manufacturers globally. So you can contact manufacturers, you can negotiate terms, and you can place an order just from your laptop. And also, minimum order quantities, MOQs, have dropped considerably. So this gives you the ability to test products at a way cheaper price. So for $500, you could buy inventory, test if there's a market that wants this product, and then start making money. Back in the day, this would have been $50,000 of inventory just to start because the MOQs were so much higher. Storefront. Shopify has given everyone a world-class e-commerce website for what, like $50 a month. There's no agency, no developers, and you can all learn it and do it yourself. I mean, I've done it myself, and it'll take a weekend to do, and it's at a fraction of the price. Payments. Stripe has given us the ability to take payments from anyone, anywhere, at any time. There's no merchant account and no bank negotiation. Distribution. Meta, TikTok, Google. You can now specifically reach your audience through these distribution channels. You can do it by interest, location, and behavior. So for like as little as $20, you can get an ad up and running. Whereas back in the day, you would have had to have shot a professional video to then try and get it on TV with a gatekeeper in between, which would have cost thousands of dollars. Software. You can now create apps, build websites that are going to help your customers a lot easier and a lot quicker and without huge teams now. The full stack. Sourcing, selling, distributions, payments, building. It's all self-service now. The gatekeepers didn't just step aside. They actually just became irrelevant. Let me make this concrete, because I feel like a lot of people will probably nod along and say, yep, that's very true, but they haven't actually connected it to their scenario. So I'm going to go through two real business models that the effort to start them has never been lower and the upside of doing them has never been higher. One, e-commerce. You find a product in Alibaba, something with real demand and thin local competition. In New Zealand, there isn't much competition in a lot of these spaces. People are buying from overseas, but I genuinely believe that they wish they were buying from more local people. So there is a position there. You order samples, $200, $300 worth of samples, and you build a Shopify website over the weekend, and then you run a $20 a day ad via Meta, and you get people to a wait list, which will then test the demand for that product. If the waitlist does well, then you continue to scale. But if the waitlist doesn't do well, well then you've learnt a lot, you've learnt how to do the process, and you've gone, okay, well that one's a failure, we go again. The old version of this required a warehouse, a retail space, and thousands of dollars worth of product, and a prayer. The new version requires a laptop, a set of nuts, and the willingness to test a few products. New Zealand has thousands of Shopify stores, and most of them started this way. 2, a service business. You have a skill, doesn't matter what it is. I don't know if you're good at copywriting, if you're good at social media management, if you're good at video editing, if you're good at accounting, if you're good at barbering, some sort of service, distribution channels to get your skill out there into the world, to let people know about it, has never been easier. As we talked about, Meta, TikTok, YouTube, these platforms give you the ability to show on the greater economy your ability and your skills. Whereas currently, if you're within a job and you're not letting the world know about your skill, your price that you demand in regards to your salary can only ever be within the economy of that business, because they're the only people who know about your skill. I saw this in a video from a guy called Gearside over in Aussie. I'll post the link to it below. But it was a great idea. So the distribution channel to get your skill out there means that your demand will be higher when people see your skill, which means you can actually demand a higher price, which raises your ability to earn more. Distribute your skill to the world by letting people know through those channels. And this is a great way to de-risk your transition from salary to business. You can do this by picking up a few extra clients for your skill that you're already currently doing on the side until you build a big enough clientele portfolio to where you can move into that. Now, obviously, there are some clauses with some that you can't be directly competing with them. So check that, of course, first. But you get what I'm saying, right? You can build up a clientele via distribution channels to then transition into just servicing them yourself as your boss fully. The beauty of this, in the old business world, you would need, as we spoke about, an office, a receptionist, a phone system, Yellow Pages, all that in time. But nowadays, you don't need an office. You don't need any staff. You just need your skill, your laptop, and internet connection. And that's it. And then you've got those machine guns of these softwares, AI, etc., to help you get going. Here's why this matters practically to New Zealanders. Because the conventional story about businesses in New Zealand is that they're disadvantaged. Small market, remote location, just far from everything. And in a sense, in the old world, this was true. If your business depended on foot traffic or a proximity to suppliers or a large domestic market, geography mattered a lot. But these tools that were spoken about, they're not dependent on geography anymore. Your Shopify store customers, they probably don't even know that you've got your store set up from Invercargill, or the services you're providing to people, they might not know that you're just parked up on the beach in some random location. Shopify stores don't have borders, websites don't have borders, apps don't have borders. New Zealand's remoteness, which used to be a liability, is now irrelevant. And in some cases, it's actually an advantage. It's lower cost of living compared to your Sydneys and your Londons. It has a stable and safe environment, and you have the same access to these money-making tools and softwares that everyone else has. The permissionless economy. I've been hearing this word being thrown around a lot, and I really like it. It's the ability for people to earn where they like, when they like, and how they like. No more gatekeepers. So if this is all true, which it is, why aren't more people earning in this way? Because actually, not all the gatekeepers have left. There is still one gatekeeper left. It's you. It's in your head. That one lives there rent-free, and he's telling you, oh, I don't think I've got the skills. Now's not the right time. Someone else is better suited for this. This voice is the last gatekeeper. And unlike the previous gatekeepers, this one has to be dealt with and dismantled by you. The only thing standing between New Zealanders and the business that they really want to start and live out is themselves. And it's the decision in their head to start. The permissionless economy isn't coming, it's here. The question is whether you're going to use it. If you want to keep thinking about this, follow along. This is what I cover. Have a great week, team, and God bless.